So hi and welcome. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist specializing in emotional eating. And I thought I would cover this because emotional eating, it's really multi-layered. It has a lot of different facets to it. And we as a society and what we're sort of sold for emotional eating is really something simple and it's on the surface. And we think if we do this one thing, we're going to figure out our emotional eating. And in a way that's good because it motivates us. It gives us something to hook on to move towards. But if we keep trying those surface solutions, we don't get very far. And so we need to expand what we know about emotional eating. Emotional eating is sort of lumped in with binge eating and all of these different things. They all stem from the same place and they're built up on similar patterns. And so emotional eating is a coping mechanism, which means that we developed it in order to deal with any distress, discomfort, or uncomfortable emotions in our life. And this is a pattern that would have been developing for a really long time from our childhood onwards. It might have shifted forms, but it is still the same pattern. And it's when we use food to soothe or numb ourselves or distract from this discomfort because it's uncomfortable. And part of the reason is that we don't know what to do with this discomfort. We don't know how to get rid of it. We don't know how to resolve it. So the next best thing we can do to survive is to cope with it. And of course, as children, we don't have a lot of tools. And if we don't have parents or caregivers there to guide us through this process, which most of us did not, and especially if you're watching this video, then you would have been lost. And as a little human, this is the level, the capacity we had to survive. And this is what happens. We try to figure out how to survive and we piece together things in our environment. So our parents might have also been emotional eaters. They might have, coped with their own emotions, had addictions, distracted from them, and also then shamed us for ours or rejected our emotions or dismissed them or ignored us. So all of these things are happening to create this coping mechanism. And so now we have no clue. We might be aware we have emotions or not, or mood changes, and we don't know what to do with them. We actually don't know how to resolve them. And so we can emotionally eat consciously. So we know we're sad. We're going to go eat the thing. I had a rough day. I'm going to go have some food. And so we reward ourselves with it or unconsciously where we're sort of thrown into an emotional eating sort of episode. And so these are sort of the ways we're using food to soothe and to cope. But this pattern has a different layers. And what I see with clients and what I experience myself, so this is from my own journey and looking at clients and their patterns and seeing these really distinct areas that this is coming from, just to simplify it so that you understand. So we can be triggered into our emotional eating whenever any discomfort, mood imbalance happens. And this can be around food. If we have a really restrictive mindset around food, we're not nourishing our bodies well. We can have this pattern arise around the food choices we're making. So whether we are choosing foods out of our emotional eating pattern or we're choosing foods because we don't know how to truly nourish our body, this can trigger that mood imbalance and trigger us into emotional eating. Around our body. So are we honoring our body's rhythms and rituals? Are we accepting it? Or are we, sort of saying something's wrong with us and going into this shame spiral and trying to control our bodies, which can trigger this pattern if we have this underlying way of coping with life. And finally, with emotions. And so do we distract from our emotions? Obviously, for emotional eaters, we're using food. We bypass them and we're not looking at the deeper root of what happened to us and able to truly meet those deep needs and resolve this pattern and to really move through our emotions so that we can come out the other side. And so these are the three areas that we can be triggered into emotional eating. And only when we're triggered with actual emotions and events and traumas from the past is it what I would consider true emotional eating, because then it is about our deeper emotions and this deeper level of trauma. The other two areas, they can add into this deeper emotional layer, especially if we have deep shame around our body, or we're really critical of ourselves when we do something wrong and we're not making the right food choice. But in and of itself, if we're able to shift those on a more surface level, let's say, and then pull out the parts that are deeper traumas, that are really ingrained critical beliefs, then those can be shifted and we can shift some of our emotional eating. And that's why when you switch your diet and you willpower through, you might notice some of your emotional eating dissipates, or you're binging because maybe you're nourishing your body, or you're sort of high on your willpower. Or if you are at the gym and you're working out and you're feeling good, that shame is not triggered about your body because you're sort of fitting into the box you think you should. But when you slip, you're back in the shame spiral. And then what usually happens is we don't really ever attain that body, or it's very short-lived, because then we're building our self-worth on a shaky foundation. So in a way, the first two levels around food and body, we can kind of shift them, and that's what's marketed to us, change the way you eat, go to the gym. We're just really managing these beliefs by doing these activities. It's not because it's coming from a core place of, I genuinely want to take care of myself. I want to nourish myself. I want to take care of my body. I want to have great health. And we might be saying those things to ourselves, but the deeper belief we have, because I've had clients, when we go deeper, is that I'm not acceptable as I am. I need to look a certain way. So it doesn't matter if I'm really healthy, that healthy has to look a certain way. And it doesn't matter I eat healthy on the surface, I have to look a certain way. I have to be a certain way. And so it's not built on the solid foundation of, I am worthy of having a healthy body. I'm worthy of putting nourishing, amazing foods into my body. And I am worthy of taking up space and caring for myself. The deeper root, which doesn't mean it's your truth, it's what you the pattern you created. And on the surface, now we're trying to fit pieces. Yes, I am nourishing my body, and yes, I am nourishing myself. But if we haven't dealt with that deeper core level, that unresolved trauma, you are putting ice cream on top of poop. It looks really nice to say I'm eating organic or I'm nourishing my body on the surface, but if it's not sticking, we haven't gotten to that deeper root. It's not coming from a place of worthiness. It's coming from a place of lack and craving. And there is a discernment with that. And that's why emotional eating is so multi-layered. And so not to sort of, I don't want to overcomplicate this. It's that what I want you to take from this is that there are deeper root issues going on, and it doesn't matter how much you willpower and band-aid on the surface and how long you stay in, a certain pattern of eating. If you don't get to those core root issues, you struggle with them. So I've worked with people who are very holistic, who have a really, they want to relate to food. They have that desire, but they haven't dealt with this deeper trauma to really fully realize that desire and to come from that true place. So you're always sort of moving forward with this anchor holding you back. And so emotional eating, once we're able to shift these three areas that's triggering your emotional eating, so triggering it, but also getting to the core wound and the core root of it. So there's sort of these triggers, this will sort of trigger it. So let's say you're able to manage your body at a certain size, and then you can't sustain that. Then you're triggered when your body shifts because you don't have a core belief of you're worthy, and your body, it might shift, or that sort of like deeper acceptance, or to see what's going on that your body is shifting. It's still coming from this place of, oh no, I have to scramble now. I've moved out of that body size, so something's wrong with me. And that sort of scrambling and hypervigilance is coming from a trauma. Because if you were genuinely caring about your health and your well-being, you would take notice of, okay, so I'm in this space. What has happened in my life that's now shifted my body to change? Am I in a certain time of the month? Am I eating enough? Am I managing my schedule well? Am I doing the deeper work around stressors and traumas? Am I doing that deeper work around this? And then we could see how those deeper parts are what we need, and it's just showing up as a symptom maybe in our body, in our weight gain. Not let's go punish ourselves at the gym, let's cut back on calories. It's a deeper exploration of what's going on. And so when we're able to get to these layers and really start shifting them, what we're essentially doing on a physiological level, because when we're in this pattern of relating to, we have these triggers, we are in fight or flight mode. And so we're shifting to a way of being that is in rest and digest in a calm mode, which turns on health, peace, ease, confidence in our body. Fight or flight mode is a stress mode. It turns off health, turns on illness, weight gain, inflammatory conditions, digestive issues, the list goes on. So we are shifting this and we're learning ways to meet our true needs. These band-aids, they only work for so long because we only have so much willpower. And then we start seeing, why aren't the pieces fitting? Why can't I get the same results? And we need more insight and tools. And so this is what we do inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program. It's about you connecting back to you and understanding your patterns and how you have been coping with life and shifting it. So how have you been coping with food, coping with your body, and coping with your emotions, and actually meeting your true needs? So developing a nourishing relationship to food, developing an accepting relationship to your body, and really diving deep into those traumas and emotions that are running the pattern at a deeper level, so that you can actually have that deep resolution and acceptance and come from this really worthy place to create change in your life. Because coming back to that place actually shifts our nervous system and we start getting the results that we want. It might take more time, but it's coming from this really sustainable, grounded place, and it's foundational. So, it's important that we understand that emotional eating is just multi-layered. It's not just, I have the right diet or I have the right exercise. It's really going back and evaluating, does this resonate for me? Am I doing this from a true place? Am I doing this from a place of genuinely wanting my health and well-being? Or is there a deeper layer here, a deeper criticism here, a deeper way of speaking about myself and my body? And I totally get it, because I was right there. Everything I did in terms of how I ate, how I exercised, even with my emotions to a degree, I just thought something was wrong with me. So everything was, something's wrong with you. You need to eat this way. I need to get to the gym because I need to look a certain way. I need to, I'm not feeling well, I have these emotions. What do I do with them? So I, rewrite your thoughts or this or that. It wasn't getting to the deeper root of what was going on. And that was really exhausting. It was a really exhausting way of being and living my life, because when you're constantly putting band-aids, you have to keep doing that. It's not hitting the truth of who you are. And when you get to that core level, things just click and you're in this place of awareness of truth for yourself, that you don't ever have to fight. You can always come back to it. And we weren't given that, since we were younger. We weren't modeled this. We weren't given this. And so now we have to go back and do that for ourselves. But it's worth that effort. It is less effort than willpowering throughout your life and feeling miserable. But it is some effort and some work. And you deserve to put that into yourself. So if you're curious about the Emotional Eating Evolution program, you can find out more about it below. It is a 12-week container. There's a step-by-step methodology. There's weekly support and accountability. There's community, in-depth somatic meditations to get to the root, so that you can finally resolve this pattern and start feeling confident in your body and around food. So if that's of interest to you, you can check out more about it below. If you have any questions about what I've shared, please let me know. Please be sure to like and subscribe as well. And I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.